now we're going live. Okay. Guys, if you can hear me, give me some ones in the chat.
Okay, it just went live. Okay. I don't think it was live before.
I don't think it was. Ones in the chat if you can hear me, guys. Ones in the chat. Yeah, so we're gonna attempt this live for the first time on YouTube, so this will be fun. Appreciate you guys joining us for the experiment.
There we go.
Perfect.
Okay, I think it's hella delayed. Yes.
Yes. Let's go, fam. Okay, here we go. So, yeah, you guys, it will be a little bit of experiments. You guys kind of can see a little bit of the behind the scenes, and but we will get this started. So, here we go. What's going on, 5-Star Fam? It's your boy AJ. We're here for a charity live stream for the Lisa Foundation. I'll be joined by some special guests today, and we'll be doing some fun stuff. A tier list later for some players that who should go, who should stay. But we'll do the review first and get into some news before that. But yes, as always, I'm your host AJ. I am joined by my lovely co-host Mark Nichols, who is now on the stream. If you can see him, also put some ones or maybe some twos for the two of us in the chat.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but lovely. But yeah, Mark, how you been? It's been a minute, but lovely to have you on for the finale, man. It's 2022, and it's not been a banner year for us, but yeah, tell us how you been.
I've been good. It's been good. Busy, the good kind of busy. So just that is and that's a big part of the reason why you guys haven't seen me. But yeah, no, overall, I guess personally can't complain. Still following the team, and which it has not been a banner year, and we'll get into it, but I don't know. It just from early on, it just like I had reservations, and I hoped that there were just some early season bumps in the road, but ultimately it proved to be, I guess, reflect who we really are or who we really were as a team this year. So
Because
can't complain.
Right, you definitely you were a bit of Nostradamus a little bit early on in the season with you saying that okay, yes, we're getting some results early, but we hadn't been really playing well. There were signs where we were maybe smashing and grabbing a little bit. The play overall just wasn't quite there. But yeah, I mean, I think it came and turned its ugly head, which is very, very unfortunate. But yeah, we'll get into the weeds of a lot of that later. But yeah, first up, let's talk about this NYCFC match, which a big bummer, pretty much a dead rubber to a lot of degrees. Where the decision, we're already out of the playoffs. It's an NYCFC team that are dangerous. They are already in the playoffs as well. They get a home game. They have still some some pride to play for as well. And they don't quite exactly put us to a sword, but they keep us at bay for the entire first half pretty much. Where we have one shot on goal, and they have they have like 3 shots overall. We won just 1 tackle, and they won 8. I mean, what were your thoughts on that first half?
I think you summed up well. Like, it was just insipid, it just wasn't a lot going on. And I got to be honest, because like you alluded to it, our fate was already written before the match, and so I didn't know what to expect from the game, and to be honest, I had a pretty low bar for the game. To me, the most interesting thing, at least, was the attendance, which was 43,000.
Mhm.
Um, and who would start, and would Joseph start, and he did not. So I have to say I was mildly surprised by that decision. And just the reason being, it's not a typical last game of the season type of post.
Yeah.
So maybe some alluding to there in terms of some players, will they be part of the team next year? But especially in terms of Joseph, doesn't end up Joseph being like, even if Joseph doesn't end up staying, that would have been like at least a bit of a send off. So, but yeah, in terms of the game itself, in terms from a United perspective, just not a lot going on, unfortunately. Not a lot of getting past midfield. Sitting behind the goal that NYC were attacking on, and we saw a lot of them in the first half. So it wasn't great.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it is that. It's Joseph not starting was obviously the biggest talking point, and with that, uh, yeah, is it pretty damning on Gonzalo Pineda that, I mean, for a while now, the starting strikers have not scored, and
Mhm.
the striker that has subbed on has, yet, you know, we don't see Jose Martinez starting, and especially
Mhm.
on that send off, like you were mentioning, it is something to left to be desired, of course. But I think it's also here too that it's a little bit of job protection, maybe a little bit here. I see someone in the chat saying that yeah, Brian Barasu saying that would Pineda be saying he was wrong the whole time if he started Joseph? Yeah, I mean there's a level of that, right? What do you think?
Sure, yeah. I mean, like every manager has a little bit of ego, and not like I think you do have to have some ego to manage in the first place. But yeah, it's one of those things where, even as a default, I would say sure, like the manager's seeing more of the players, and maybe they're seeing something in training, but I don't know. This just feels different, especially since the suspension. So.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
If one could say it feels vindictive, maybe.
a
That's
little bit. And also, too, in terms of Joseph starting, I think it would have been more important that he started last week, right?
mm,
When we were not out of the playoffs yet and needed a win.
mm,
And like to your point, like, yeah, at the end of the day, Joseph was the only forward scoring. And so I think that that really would have been the game to like, for Pineda to swallow his pride in that sense.
mhm.
He obviously didn't do it then. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is at this point.
Mhm.
Part of me wonders if the coaching staff felt like he was doing well because he was coming off the bench, but
Mhm.
at the end of the day, man, the team was just lacking goals, and Joseph was still one of the main sources of goals, even when not starting. So,
Right.
um, kind of
And
missed the trick there.
right, and a lot of people have their qualms with his work rate. I mean, the stats were out there that he was the least hardworking striker in the league.
Right.
So in terms of defensive actions and all of that, and
Hmm.
distance covered, so definitely that is a factor. I mean, you can't carry a player on the team. I mean, I think Man U are seeing that exactly right now with Ronaldo
Yeah.
to a different scale, obviously, because
Right.
Ronaldo is a goat, and
Hmm.
Jose Martinez is just to a lesser scale an Atlanta goat. But
And even
yeah,
not just the stats. I mean, like the eye test, like he's visibly a different player, really post the knee injury.
mhm,
But absolutely, even there were a couple times yesterday where it's like, the ball played out in front of him. You kind of feel like the old Joseph got onto those, latched onto those maybe 50-50 balls, maybe
mhm,
hopeful balls.
mhm,
But he doesn't feel like the same player for sure.
mhm.
And so that really can't be ignored either.
Right, and I think there also is this too, though, because I mean, you look at like a Hector Bellerin of Arsenal and now Barcelona. It took him a couple years to get back from an ACL injury as well.
Hmm.
that is a normal timeline for those type of knee injuries. So it definitely will be something to keep an eye on if he is kept. That's will he experience a resurgence? No pun intended, right? But the hilarious chat in here. Oh, hi, Mark, from Rem. Love it. I don't know if you know that reference, but the room,
Of course I do.
the
Come on.
yes, I know. Yeah, you've probably been experiencing that for the last decade. But
Right.
but the if you're not aware of it, it is the worst or the best worst movie ever. So anyway, for those in the chat. But anyway, so yeah, moving on into that second half where okay, yeah, I mean you know, we're down 1-0. NYCFC they score again, and I mean it's just we are able to pull one back with a 67th minute. Kind of chip city. Really, I mean. You had Ataruju, who found Almada, who then found, Andrew Gutman, who was able to hit it on the volley from pretty much inside the six. And I mean, a really good goal, but still a little bit too little, too late. But yeah,
Yeah.
what would you think of the goal at least?
Quality from quality players. I mean, I think Amada's been as good as advertised. He's in sort of a kind of perverse sense. Like you've seen his quality because like the play of the team has been so poor. Um, the way he's been able to create things almost out of thin air. Um, yeah, so and Gutman, I think Gutman has been one of our best, if not our best player this year, at least in terms of consistency. And I was you just happy for him really individually.
Mhm,
But that goal also happens because of his work rate. And so
mhm,
um, yeah, it gave it, and I'll say this too, because again, I mentioned I was in the supporter section. Like, it definitely gave the stadium life at that point.
mhm.
There was you felt the push from the crowd after that crowd was still into it, really all the way to the end. But that goal certainly gave the game life, and that from that goal, I think to the end, it was actually that was probably the most fun that I feel like we had as fans.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was other than that, I mean, you had Joseph Martinez, he did come on, and it was at halftime. Marcelino Moreno as well, Rocco Rios Novo as well, who replaced the injured Raul Coutinho. But yeah, I mean, it's just a little too late. I mean, I think and the players didn't feel like they were up for it either. It's just you know, as much as we always do, pretty much, we bring on the kitchen sink, and
Right.
sometimes it's effective, sometimes it's not. I mean, last time it was a little bit effective bringing on Marcelino Moreno, who was able to find Lennon, who Lennon found Jose Martinez for that ridiculous bike last match. But
Hmm.
I think when you just have guys not play for really extended periods of time for kind of mysterious reasons, and then you're asking them to help you out in a big moment. It's just,
It's
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 just it's
it's a
asking a
tough
lot.
ask. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, in this, it's just a bummer of a game, really. But yeah, some of these in the chat here. Pretty idiot says, brilliant name by the way. To be honest, I don't think Joseph actually played better this season coming off the bench than starting. Yeah, kind of like we were mentioning. And Jolene Charlton says Joseph told Felipe that the reason, or Felipe Cardenas of the Athletic, that the reason he didn't start Joseph was to preserve him for the entire season. Oh yeah, Gonzalo
Interesting.
Pineda anyway about Joseph, which
Hmm.
yeah, I mean it's kind of the case, but it is also he I think he was ready at some points too. Eli
Hmm.
Altrichter said he's clearly proven that he's better than Cisneros. I think I saw another Cisneros comment. Yeah, Eli also mentioned that Cisneros has had some good games every now and then, but most of the time he's quiet. Exactly. I mean, he scored that hat trick. He scored
Yeah.
that brace. And then other than that, it's
Hmm.
been pretty quiet. It's like
Yeah.
a sporadic goal like every month or so, which is
Right.
just not good enough. I mean, the work rate's there, but like you're forward, ultimately you're paid the bills to, or you're paid the bucks to score the goals, and he wasn't
We see
doing
that
so
from
on a
time to
consistent
time
basis.
where managers like prefer this forward who like fulfills a certain role, having to do maybe having to do with work rate or maybe having to do with let's say holding up the ball or whatever. But I
Yeah.
would always say that I want my striker scoring for sure.
Mhm.
And I think that has to come first, and then the other stuff can come secondary. So
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like we'll get into like our whole
Hmm.
tiers and who we keep and who we, not so much. But Cisneros will
Hmm.
be an interesting one.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. But yeah. So ultimately, the last match at the Benz for the just the close out the 2022 season. Oh man, it's just it's not vibes. It is very much where like the fans are just left like bitter tastes, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's like Boca out shirts, Boca out signs in the
Book out
stadium,
chance.
Boca out chants. It's yeah, there is definitely this. I don't know if Boca is on this tier list, but I feel like we should add him. Um, but yeah, just to finish out with some of the other comments in the chat. Yeah, let's see. Pretty Idiot says, I wouldn't say to make Gutman a forward because sometimes players need that extra space to truly shine. Yeah, I think the thing with Gutman is that he ghosts into space because he's not being marked. He's not tracked by his defender. And I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
beauty of it is that, the defenders have no idea if to follow him or
Mm-hmm.
to, stick where they are. And stick or twist, they usually don't twist. And why he's able to find himself in these really great scoring positions. But
Yeah.
yeah, Michael Weiss, who shouts out to Michael Weiss, who's our moderator in there, and
Sure.
also on the Discord. Join the Discord if you haven't already. It's a load of fun on match days and lots of chatter throughout the week. Um, and yes, the next charity stream will be to get Tanner back. Hopefully so. Tanner has been a little MIA in the sense that he has focused on the Braves and F1.
Don't forget Manu.
He's and Manu, yeah. So right now he has not really been focusing on Atlanta United,
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah. So anyway, let's wrap up this match, the bummer of the 2-1 match, but also as a really friendly reminder that this is a charity live stream, and yes, it's for a great cause for brain aneurysm awareness. As some of you may know, my late girlfriend, she passed away from a brain aneurysm almost a couple years ago now, and yes, please, do what you can. There's no pressure at all, but if even you just spread the the link around, totally happy with that. But yeah, it'd be lovely if you could spare a little bit to donate for the cause for brain aneurysm awareness to the Lisa Foundation. But yeah, let's move on into the news. And first bit of news is that Santiago Sosa, he was suspended 3 matches for a racial slur against the New England Revolution,
Was it racial
and
or homophobic?
or homophobic rather.
Yeah.
Good catch. And either way, yeah, Atlanta United, they were
Yeah.
aware of Sosa's use of the offensive language, and yeah, he is going to have to go into LGBTQ kind of training, awareness, all that type of thing. The club did say that they do not condone the use of harmful or disrespectful language towards any person, and that Sosa, he said, was extremely remorseful, and he personally apologized to New England. So yeah, it's definitely kind of partially why as well. Maybe we were a little worse for wear against NYCFC. Our best number 6 was suspended. So definitely did not help matters, and so it's kind of has added to the crap show that's been Atlanta United this year. But yeah, speaking of crap show, Jose Martinez, he didn't want to talk to reporters after the match. Yeah, he told the press that to talk to Boca, to talk to Pineda instead, and uh, the other comments were saying that he said we're all professionals, we don't worry about the off-field issues, and he said that's for Pineda and Boca to figure out. And he said that we have a great squad. Maybe we need a few more experienced players like Brad. And he said the same thing that happened in France when they had a young squad, added experience, and did big things. So the team is together, united, and ready for next season. And he said the team understands what coaches want. So really interesting comments. I mean, it doesn't seem like he necessarily is kind of writing it all out of writing himself off of rejoining LA United if that were the case. What do you think?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I thought there were comments with perspective, and I know that people have questioned his work rate and his willingness to be here overall, but I agree with you. It does sound like he doesn't feel like his Atlanta United career is over. I mean, like he could be just saying the right thing because he doesn't actually have another move lined up yet. But you can only, I guess, to a certain degree, you can only take those words at face value, and he said the right things. Like I think if he demonstrates that he wants to be here and maybe comes back with a renewed vigor, then
yeah, ooh, jinx.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's that, like maybe because it's this too. Like when you're in a difficult situation, like obviously you want everyone to be professional, you want everyone to give 100%, but like psychologically sometimes it's not that simple, and like when you feel like things are falling apart around you, maybe you just don't have the same application. So I kind of wonder, like, if we did retool the team, if he bought into the vision and the future, maybe we would see more of what we saw in his first season.
Yeah. So yeah, what you're saying is he likely maybe down-tooled here a little bit, and yeah, there is maybe a little bit of the malaise that is set in, maybe a little bit of the, maybe cautiousness with his repaired knee. So yeah, I mean, there very well could be a renewed vigor. I mean, he still is under 30 years old, so there is the likelihood that it is possible. He was still I believe, our leading scorer. So it is, in that it's not double digits, but still, it is. He is our leading scorer. But yeah, and we'll talk more about Jose Martinez later on. But Luis Araujo, yeah, he said after the match as well, he said he didn't think it was a good season, suffered a lot of injuries, but knows they have a lot to work on. Said it was his first full season, and he can continue to get better, and will, continue to keep working. And he said emphatically, yes, he wants to return to LA United. And I mean, yeah, it's I think that's what's interesting here is that, do people want him back? That's we'll discuss that later on, but
Right.
yeah, it is. He definitely can get a lot better. That's for sure. I mean, there are the 4 goals that he got, and that stat from a previous episode where he's in the top 10 of shots from forwards or just any players in the league, but he is the only one that's not in double digits. Like that's as damning of a stat if I've ever heard one. But
yeah.
Anyway, next bit of news is that the final 2022 MLS attendance averages, according to Mike Conti, were released, and Atlanta with 47,116 as an average, 800,966 total. The next closest is Charlotte at 35,260, and Seattle at 33,607, Nashville 27,000, etc., etc. I mean, we're at least 12,000 more than the next fan base, and I think this speaks volumes of just how much we show out and how much the team has not executed. Like what do you think? I mean, what do you pull
Yeah.
from those numbers?
Well, like I mentioned before, we had 43,000 at this game. You know, knowing that we weren't going to be a playoff team. You know, like you compare that to Orlando, whose stadium didn't even look half full in a game that they needed to win to make the playoffs. They won, by the way. But like, yeah, it just goes to show you that even with all the frustration that's been expressed from the supporters. For the most part, like the culture has been embedded, like the culture of Atlanta United has been embedded in the city, and there is still a bit of loyalty there, but at the same time, like you can't take it for granted, man. Like it's not always going to be here. So I think that you know, the club in general should be encouraged, but then also motivated to do right by us. You know, like um, in terms of an actual competent direction, and also like a team and a club that reflects our values. You know, I think that was a big part of the frustration that supporters felt about the club. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, man, like they you know, people like to talk about the United fans like, oh, they're plastic, oh, they're not going to show up when the team's bad or whatever. 43,000 for a team that was already out of the playoffs. Who else
Yeah,
in the league is doing that? Literally nobody.
yeah, yep. For a dead rubber, and yeah, basically we've been bad for about 2 or 3 years now, and yeah, no one can call
Exactly.
us plastic at this point. Like,
We put in the
yeah,
dues, man.
exactly. Like, yeah, we just did it in reverse, you know. Like
Yeah.
we we get to have the glory first. We get to have our cake
Hmm.
and eat it too, and then we get the cake in our face, I guess.
Yeah,
For,
yeah, exactly. It's
so
you know, but yeah, it is like these are moments of adversity, and it is, you know, I think it does test you know, how much of a bond that you've created with the fans, and I think the lesson that Atlanta United should learn is that it's a strong bond. So just, you know, don't take it for granted.
exactly, strong and wise words there, Mark. Yeah, and so looking at kind of the teams around us in the South. Well, yeah, Inter Miami, Orlando, and Charlotte, they all finished above us in 2022. Let me repeat that again. Miami, Orlando, and Charlotte all finished above us this season.
Hmm. You know,
Yeah,
so I mentioned before that like early on there were signs that were worrying, and to me, I think arguably the most disappointing loss we had this season was versus Charlotte. And just to recap real quick, it was a 1-0 loss at their stadium. Now that week we did lose Ozzy Alonso. You know, obviously he was a regular at that point. I think he would have been a key player for us this season. Um, and so, you know, like we had started being bit by the injury bug, but you know, my feeling was just this is an expansion team with not a very big budget at all, a fraction of our club's budget, and like we just didn't create anything. Like our XG from that was like significantly less than one. It was terrible. And even though they scored off that fluke goal, like that's all they needed, you know? And so it was just that particular performance just left a really bad taste in my mouth. And it's just like, man, if we're looking like this versus competition that we should honestly comfortably beat. And that's the other thing too, like in the home fixture versus Charlotte, we didn't comfortably beat them. Like that was like a last second kind of a fluke goal at the end. Um and so it just yeah, I mean it speaks for itself, really. It really does that those teams finished above us. I mean, I realize that like money can't dictate everything, But I think when you spend as much as we do, there is obviously a baseline, and we obviously finish way below that.
Yeah, it's basically the expectations versus reality thing, and yeah, we flew far below those expectations in reality. In reality, we looked like a mess, and it's just a damn shame. But yeah, now switch gear thing will show this here so that everybody can. But here we go. We are back live, and let's see. Try to get everybody on with a little bit of a thing. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna. Okay, one's in the chat if you can still hear me, and you can still hear us. Apologies for the stream going out just slightly. Again, thank you for bearing with us. It's our first stream on YouTube, solo dolo without. But yeah, go ahead and join us, Michael, and
Okay.
yeah, have Miguel also join us in the
Again, Eli.
Oh, that's okay. Audio's gone. Oh no.
Yeah, Harvey. Now Harvey's saying it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll power through. But let's see. Here we go. Please have Miguel join us in. It's back! Yay! All right. Yes. So you should see this tier list that we're gonna look. And we got. Here we go. Gone again. Oh no. Oh no. All right. But Michael, if you want to hop
Yeah,
on.
I'm saying good. So,
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Good, good. It's back freezing for some reason. I see it. Okay. And then.
Are we willing to test the internet with putting on another video?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we gotta. So, I mean, let's see. El Traviso, he knows where he's going. Stream for fan cams.
I sent him
yeah, okay.
The information.
El Traviso. There. This happens. Okay. Where is my video? Hello, hello, hello. Everyone's still there? Yep. No. Test that stream. Let's see. Check. Hello. Yep. Oh, hey, Don. There we go. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, we're gonna look at that tier list right now. You guys can kind of follow along here. I think in order to not, I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. This is what we're gonna do, so that not stress this. All right. So here we go.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Michael and Miguel, we currently can't see them, but at the very least, we can see this tier list that we'll go through together. But okay, yeah. So yeah, if you could see it, if you're listening to it on the podcast, just go to the YouTube stream. We'll have this little tier maker as well in the description. But yeah, first up is Thiago Almada, and our keep 100%, the future 100%, want back but might not be. Do better next year or you're gone. Trade, good value, but we don't need you. And leave immediately. And if you've never done a tier list before, it's just basically you drag and drop people into the different tiers, and you figure out and we decide if we all agree or not, and if we want to put someone in a different spot or not. So Thiago Mata, let's see, let's go with Mark first. What tier would you put him in?
I have him in want back, but might not be. He's obviously he's in terms of talent, he's the best player on the team. I think that he said earlier was as good as advertised and then some. But yeah, it's just once Messi mentions your name, like price of the brick goes up, and so I think that I wouldn't blame him too if he wanted to make a move this January. I do think that this January transfer window is going to be interesting in general because it's going to be right after a World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those things where European club season is sort of in an enforced break at that point, and so maybe some clubs will go for him. I'm not sure there's much Atlanta United can do. So,
and it's Atlanta United's business model from this point. So.
And it's only its business model, because that's the thing. Like,
they'll do it again.
And I think like when you position yourself as like that club, you kind of have to facilitate those moves, as well. So it'd be poor form to like say no, actually we want to keep you another year, even if though you want to leave. So we'll see. Of course, he could want to stay another season. He could say, I'm not ready to make another move quite yet. After just being here for a year, but right now my gut's telling me that it's more likely that he leaves.
Yeah. Really, really good points. Michael, what do you think?
Thiago Mata, I think, if it's up to us, we're keeping him 100% for sure. But obviously, we also want him back. I think that Gonzalo Pineda is going to definitely want to try and build the team around him if he sticks around. So I think he's going to want him to stay. A lot of forces are going to want him to stay, I think. But like you said earlier, if the right price comes knocking, I think that is his intended goal. He's super shocked. But for now, I'll say keep 100%.
Yeah, okay. So, keep 100%. I mean, okay, I guess that
for him. Like,
I think we
need a lot of money for that.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, now it's me. I guess we have to figure out something. But it is really great points. I mean, it's just man, like he's a player that I think we desperately need this team. Like we need this level of talent that actually produces from the off. And it is like I fully agree with you. Keep 100%, and I also agree with you, Mark. That it's if we want him back, but he might not be. I guess it's he could go through any of these three top ones, really. But I think ultimately my gut says that he's probably gone. And whether it's in the summer, I mean, do we even want to really risk or not risk, but like entertain half a season? And what do we do? Like recall Barco? Like it becomes another kind of lost season almost in a sense where you have a lot of change within a season. Doesn't seem wise. Doesn't seem wise. Like I think the best call probably is if we can get a semblance of a dollar amount that we need, then I think we should sell. So, I think there's not really here what I'm saying, but the closest probably is want back, but it might not be. I mean, can we all agree? I guess that's it's probably that.
I said that, so I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Now I'm just fighting Michael at this point, but yeah. But yeah. Okay. So next up, then Rocco Rios Novo. Michael, let's go with you first.
I mean, I don't think we need him really in any capacity.
Italy is probably it is the move. I mean, yeah, your points about him not playing, him undersized. He probably works better in a South America, Europe. So yeah, I would say yeah, agreed. Leave immediately. Okay, next up, Emerson Hyman. I'll go first. I think we should have him leave immediately because,
Ooh.
yep, he just has not been useful. Like these past 2 years injured. It is what it is. Like he has some value if he's healthy, but
Mhm.
not at the price that he's paid. So I think we almost have to cut our
Yeah.
losses. Mark.
So spoiler alert, probably the biggest the category with the most players here for me is do better next year or you're gone. And it's just I would love to overhaul like half the team, but I do think it's a case of like, all right, we do have to be kind of reasonable with like, how many roster changes we make. So I think Hyman, I think he just survives, I guess, is the best way to put it. Another
Yeah.
season, I think he gets another chance to prove himself. Like, okay, yes, a little unlucky with the injuries again, but I do think that this would be like a last chance kind of thing for me. So,
Yeah.
got to do better next year.
Yeah.
Did
Michael.
Miguel join, by the way?
I think Miguel joined. All right. Also,
Yeah.
we're joined by El Travis Miguel. Yeah, if you can hear us, Michael, Miguel.
I am here. I'll see myself on camera, but I think I'm here. I'll do this, so I apologize.
Oh, no worry, no worry, no worry. Yeah, if you, did you say you have to leave?
No. I'm
Oh.
here. I'm here. I'm
Trying to get rid of him
but it's,
already.
yeah,
No.
right. I just got here.
No, but yeah, turn on your
There
camera
I
so we can
am.
see your beautiful
There he is.
face. There we go. Perfect. And yeah, I'll put you on the stream as well here. But yes, here we are. Okay. But yeah, I don't know if you've been keeping track of what we're doing, Miguel, but okay, right now we're on Emerson Hyman. Where would you put him on this list? This tier list?
Uh, I guess because I got disconnected for a minute. I guess we're going over who stays, who goes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Roughly, yeah.
Heinemann, I will let him go. I will let him go. This season has not been. I understand he came from an injury, but still, not my cup of tea. So
Now
I
you
will
go.
let him go.
That is fair. That is fair. Yeah. I mean, I think ultimately it's also this. He okay. He may not fetch very much. We may not really get anything for him, but is he probably one of those contracts that we need? You know, it might be. It
And
might happen.
yeah, in the chat, Lama Rama made that point. He's been injured too much and eats too much salary. You want that space freed up. That's a fair point. I mean, like
Right.
he's on a TAM salary, which is always questionable from the beginning.
Yeah.
And he really like through injury and a little bit performance too, just hasn't lived up to it.
Right. I mean, he is our best goal scoring midfielder, but it's also not saying very much, unfortunately.
Right.
But
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm gonna scoot forward just a little bit, just as a little comparison. But Mateus Isetu, um, similar salary. For some reason, I can't find him. Okay, because he's blonde. There we go. But yeah, I'm just gonna put him in the middle for a minute. All right, and we'll talk about him. But yeah, Mateus Isetu. I mean, he's been less injured than Emerson Hyman. I mean, although it was a fluke injury for Emerson Hyman, but still, he's left a lot to be desired as well. But yeah, it's kind of in that same kind of territory where you can't have both of them. Like it's for me, if we have to get rid of one of them, it's the guy who's more injured, and if they're at the same wage essentially. But yeah. So I think, I mean, if I could, I'd unfortunately want them both to leave immediately. But I think he's in the do
I
better next year, or you're gone. What do you think, Mark?
I actually have him in the he has trade value. I would definitely explore the market to see what's out there. For the reasons you stated, I mean, he hasn't quite lived up to that salary. He's probably it was always one of those. I guess I don't want to say weird transfers, but it was kind of late in the window. It kind of felt like we were kind of just looking for somebody, and it's never been quite clear like what his like. He's decent at a few different things, but I don't think he's very good at anything. So, yeah, I would see what the market what you could what you could get back for him and free up the space.
Yeah, Miguel.
Uh, Yesterday, I think I'm in the mood of kind of those stores where they're shut down and everything must go.
Right.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
So yeah, I will ship if not
Yeah,
him,
leave
both
immediately.
Brazilians back. I mean, to
Yeah.
be
Oh
honest,
wow. Hmm.
it's just a tier. But
Yeah.
Rosero did not fill my expectations as a player. So yeah, for me, he must go too.
Okay, Michael.
I mean, I think Rosetto can absolutely fit on a team, really much like an MLS that loves to pass laterally and backwards and get that, pass completion percentage stat up as high as they possibly can. If that's what you're looking for, Rosetto is your guy. But he is definitely not the kind of player that we're looking for to be like a maestro in the midfield to get that ball, slicing passes, get it up to the mid into the to the forwards. He just doesn't do that. He doesn't do it enough, anywhere close to enough. And just every time the ball gets to him, play kind of dies, slows down. He looks for that immediate pass. If it's not there, he just kind of shuts down, turns around, passes somewhere else. I mean, it's depressing. I mean, in the beginning, he kind of had some potential. It looked like he really wanted to find that pass, but once that outlet wasn't there, someone marked the guy he was planning on passing to, or whatever the kind of the play that they rehearsed many times in the training field, whatever that was. If that gets blocked, all of a sudden he's just completely out of ideas, and it goes backwards or it goes laterally. The play kind of dies, especially in transition when we're trying to move quick. So for us, it just doesn't fit whatsoever. But if another MLS team comes knocking who wants a player like that, likes that pass completion, likes possession, then there you go. I think that's for them.
Right. Yeah. I think I know exactly what you're saying. He's basically one note type of player. Like technically, he's sound. He can keep the ball,
Mhm.
but like that's about it. And so, I mean, Michael. Okay, were you gonna like were you putting him in the trade, good value, but we don't need you? I assume.
Yeah, I would say trade if you can get the
Mhm.
good value. I think,
Mhm.
like I said, some MLS teams might value that a lot.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we have two for that, and then two for leave immediately. All right, we're gonna have to press. We have to press you guys. What is it gonna be? You.
Uh,
There's a gun to your head right now. Trade or leave immediately.
I would
Michael,
say trade.
trade. Okay. Miguel,
right.
Trade, trade is fine. Trade is fine.
trade is what?
I'll give him that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I think yeah, that's pretty definitive. Three out of four at least. All right, so we'll move on to Tyler Wolf, who is on loan, of course, right now. We'll kind of go through some of the quicker guys. So yeah, let's just sound it off real quick. Michael,
Mhm.
Tyler Wolf, what would you do?
Trade with good value.
Mm.
Okay.
Good future,
Uh,
but I'll say trade
interesting.
if the right people come knocking.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. And of course, transfer would be a good word here too. But yes, Miguel.
Uh, he got roof, but he's still not um a player for us. So we can, if we can trade it or sell him, for whatever money it will be good for the team. I believe.
Mm.
The kid, he still got some development to do. So I
Yeah.
will say, yeah, either trade or sell.
Uh, oh yeah. FTC with the puns. So punny. He said lone wolf. See what I did there? Love it. Love it. Love it. Mark, what you got?
I put him in my future category. I think I don't know. I guess like I said, I do kind of look at it like as okay, we got to keep somebody. So who would we keep? And like for the young players, generally I'm skewing towards keeping. So he's in my future category. But I mean, like in a year or two, yeah, we'll see how he is in terms of his development.
Yeah. I agree there. I mean, I think he's one for the future. He's definitely still needs a lot of development. I think the end product is just not there. And yeah, I mean, he has a good work rate, but I think there's if you're looking at Thiago Almada, who's a very similar age, there's just so much more that you can already see, and I just don't see why if we're trying to win now that we need to really stress too hard really about this. Like I think it's just that it's like if he's on loan and he's on loan again, if he provides value for the team that he's on loan with, hopefully he brings this parent club some good dollars. So I think it's a future for me too. So I think it's 2-2 again. I think he's one for the future anyway, in that sense. So I think we'll just maybe move on swiftly. Yes.
That could also easily be argued for him being in the future. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Alex to John. What do we think? Let's just make it like one word.
Leave. I mean, I wouldn't even really put too much effort in trying to trade him. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's good in the sense of like as a fifth center back when breaking
Exactly.
in case of glass. Yeah. Okay. Machop Chol. We'll keep it quick.
Maybe see what's on the trade market because I looked him up. He's 23. I mean, it's not old, but it's also like it's closer to. I mean, like how much more is he going to develop? I guess is what I'm saying from here. So, I'm gonna say trade market. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Okay. Miguel.
I like that one.
No.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
That one, yeah, I know. I mean, he solved a couple of games for us this season, but that was about it. And like you said, you gotta put in perspective what else can he brings to the table? What else can he bring to the table? So, I mean, oh, what the heck, trade,
Trade.
trade.
All right. Well, I disagree with you guys, but I'm cool with it. It's yeah. I mean, I think he can do better next year, or he's gone. I think I think he just needed more time. I mean, he was a little bit injured this year as well. When he was playing as a wing back. So yeah, is what it is. Here we go. Next up, these we truly will go very quick. Eric Lopez. I know he was like, oh man, yeah, he's still on the team. Yeah, he's on loan. But
I don't see a future at the club for him.
Yeah. Okay. Miguel.
I'll just say thank you, Eric Lopez.
Yeah.
Thank you to us.
Yeah. Michael.
I think that's consensus.
Yep, and that is the consensus. All right. Next up, yeah. Let's see. We got. I'm trying to go in some sort of order here, but all right. Here we go. Jackson Conway.
Trade. I mean, he seems like a good kid, but I don't really see the top end talent in terms of being able to play for Atlanta United consistently. I think you got to explore the trade market at least, and maybe if not, just release him.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, I mean, he is our leading scorer at the twos this season, but yeah,
Well,
it doesn't
that's
really
where he gets a
translate.
good value.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, he's the against Club America the hero, but
Mhm.
you know that only goes so far.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Miguel?
I think I will keep him. I'll keep him. That kid is young. I think he can give us a little bit more, and
Mm.
he can get a little bit more development
Mhm.
with the two. He's doing good there, and he can be a good sub for whoever is gonna replace Martinez. So
Yeah.
you know,
Mm.
I will keep him.
Yeah. Oh, and we had some comments in the chat as well. RJ Nelson wanted to offer Wolf to Austin FC. Of course, his father coaches for them, so that's a great shout. FTC Grego, he's saying that Jackson Conway needs some first team action, one for the future, needs higher competition. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the thing. He doesn't cost very much. He's a homegrown. He's a warm body at this point that could grow into something. I think he's one for the future. It doesn't really hurt to have him around, and if he develops into something like a Brandon Vasquez, hey, we don't have to pay anything for him.
Fair.
So
You never know. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
true. That's true.
so
Okay.
there is
I'm
that.
cool with that.
Okay, all right. All right. Next up. We'll try to. There's so many players. We have to go through this rather quickly. Than,
We're
yeah,
trying.
yeah. Anyway, okay. Bryce Washington. Here we go. I think he's
Who?
one for the future.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly
future
why.
for me.
Yep. He's a center back, and basically hasn't been playing a ton. Slash has been a little bit leaving a little bit to be desired. But Miguel, I haven't heard from you. What do you think?
Uh, he can get he can grow on a different team. I'll trade him.
Yeah, you trade him. Okay. Well, I think that's three. So okay, yeah, we'll stick him there. Amar Sadic. Let's see. We'll go with Michael.
Gone for me.
Gone. Okay.
I would
Miguel.
say. Sorry, go again. What's up, Mike?
Miguel.
Oh, me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You guys cut off for a second. I'll bye bye for me.
Okay.
Cut off his
Bye
head.
bye. Oh damn. And then
We
and
might
Mark.
have to make another tier below leave immediately.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Jeez. Hot office. Damn, it's so violent. Miguel chose violence today.
I would say do better next year or you're gone. Just because like he was essentially a role player for us and he was decent. But like
Yeah.
if he did that again, it wouldn't necessarily be a long term option. So he'd be one of those that I keep just because like he's useful, but he's obviously not like moving the needle for the team necessarily.
Right. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, he obviously he helped solidify our team a little bit in midfield during our best stretch, albeit very short stretch, albeit not that impressive of a stretch, but solidify it nonetheless. He did. So yeah, I would say do better next year or you're gonna, because I think he's on a cheap anyway as well.
Right.
We will need some players.
Right.
It will be difficult to grab 22 new players. Let's just say that. So that will be quite the flurry of an offseason. Okay, so I'm gonna stick him there. I think it was a little bit 2-2. For the sake of moving fast, we'll move on to Aiden McFadden. Let's see. Let's go right back to Mark.
Trade. I don't necessarily see a future here with the club.
Okay. Miguel.
Yeah, trade as well. No, I don't see him as a 5 stripe. Sorry.
Okay, Michael.
I could see do better next year, or I'm on the same boat with them. Be willing to maybe see a little bit more of him, but I couldn't. I mean, I wouldn't be like hard pressed to jump to the other side and say trade.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what's going to be interesting is if we keep Brooks Lennon or not, we will need some right back depth, and I think he's someone that can be cheap. He can be someone that can do the job, and in MLS, that's pretty useful. But yeah, I think that's kind of two v one a little bit. I could say, yeah, find some value for him. Going to another
We
right
can
back.
also bring Danny Alves.
Yeah.
Drink Danny Alves. Yeah, I don't know if we should
So
waste
far.
an international spot on him, but
It could be
you
good
know,
vibes.
it could be good vibes. Yeah. FTC is like, are you sure, AJ? Okay. Yeah, on Sadich, I guess. I guess.
Yeah.
Not sure. Let me know, FTC. But okay, Ronald Hernandez. I think. Let's see. I mean, contract status is a little bit up in the air. But I'm saying, yeah, we probably don't really need him. Trade or transfer out.
I agree.
Yeah. Miguel.
I will keep him. I'm all upsetting here, everybody. I will keep him. I'll give him another chance next season, maybe to shine. Remember,
Yeah.
we're talking about national Venezuelan
Yeah.
players, so
Mhm.
we might get lucky next season. Remember, he got injured. He will stay out for a bit, and I think he
Mhm.
got a little bit more for the team.
Yeah.
I'll give him another
Yeah.
try next season.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm there too. Do better next year or you gone. But yeah, I could, because I guess we were talking about right back cover, all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He has formed to a degree when he's been in the squad, but there are some defensive frailties there. But
Mm-hmm.
I think playmaking wise and goal scoring, he has somewhat of the goods sometimes. So yeah,
Right.
there is
For
some value there.
Venezuela, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he scored for us at times. Some left footers on him as well. So there is that. But oh, and FTC was saying signing 22 players, we can try.
Yeah.
I'd rather not. I'd rather not try to do that. That's a headache and a half for covering that anyway. Selfishly. But anyway, okay, let's go on to George Campbell. I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna say he's still the future. I mean, he's still fairly young, and
Mm-hmm.
he's on track, on a better trajectory at times than Miles Robinson. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but is he as good as Miles Robinson? No, not at all. But on track wise, he needs a lot more playing time, and
Yeah.
maybe it's on loan, maybe it's at the twos for prolonged periods, but he does not need to sit on. I went too long on him already, but let's just go rapid fire. Michael.
I agree.
Okay. Miguel.
Yeah.
Thumbs up. Mark.
Yeah. Keep him one for the future for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I just realized it's triple M here right now. I'm surrounded by M's, and it's a good thing. All right. So Edwin Mosquera. Let's see. What Mark.
Keep 100.
Keep 100. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I didn't watch him play that much, but the few times that I saw him, I saw a spark, and so I would take one for the future.
Okay. And Miguel.
But
I piggyback that comment. Same thing. I think we need to see more of him, and we should give it another season.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously he's in a U22 spot right now, and so that's definitely that is hefty to a degree, but it is still one for the future. I'd agree. So, yeah, we'll move on. And next up is Osvaldo Alonso. Let's see, rapid fire. Let's see, Miguel.
Adios. I'm sorry.
Adios.
Oh
O-
wow.
Too old,
Okay.
injury
Oh.
after an injury. Yeah, sorry. I mean, thank you for your service.
Mike.
This is a tough one because I mean we didn't get to see him at all,
Yeah.
and we know he can be quality.
Hmm.
If we can find someone comparable to him to fit
Hmm.
that spot, then okay. But if not, then I would keep him as that kind of cement.
Yeah. And then Mark.
Yeah, I actually had him in the category of the same one as Amalda. You know, it's like if we can bring him back, sure. I'm not sure,
Mm.
right? We'll just have to see how he
Yeah.
recovers. But I do think that when he was playing early in the season, he making an impact. And I think that if he had stayed healthy, certainly our mid been better for it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would try to keep him in some capacity. You know, provided obviously he can recover.
Yeah. Ah, boy. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's and everyone's wanting, okay, want back but might not be, right? But yeah, I think
I think
it's one of
Miguel said
those
adios.
adios. That's right, true.
Yeah, he said
But
adios.
yeah, but it is I think
At
two
least he
one.
gets to keep his head. So
Right. I think right, it's true. I think for me, I mean, coming back from that injury, it's gonna be like at his age, it's gonna be very difficult for him to, even
yeah,
though it's a different type of position where he doesn't need pace, he doesn't need explosiveness, but ultimately, you still need your legs, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be difficult for him, I think, to be what he used to be. But
Hmm.
if someone, yeah, FTC was saying hire Ozzy as a coach. Okay, yeah, want back, but might not be. Maybe he's back as a coach. I'll take that, sure. Especially if Gonzalez is still the head coach. But okay, next up, I'm kind of going with playing time a little bit. Oh, I just noticed Joseph Martinez is on here twice. But let's see, Barco.
Yeah.
Let's see, real quick, real
Um.
quick.
Immediate adios. Like he wasn't even good on loan. Like the reports were not promising.
Yeah.
That man is done out here, yo.
Oh, Michael.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. I'm all right with him leaving. Just cut the losses at this point.
Yeah, Miguel.
whatever money we can make out of him, I'll take it. So
Yeah,
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 no,
cut the loss.
I
Yeah,
agree. Yep.
yeah. So maybe it's I think what you were saying, Mike, is that we should trade him, probably, or transfer him.
yeah,
Is what I was gathering. Yeah,
yeah. Take the loss on the money, but get him out.
yeah. I think we're lucky if we can get 10. So it's probably like 6 to 8 million probably at this point at his age. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, which is just sad. All right. Next up, in terms of playing time, let's see. I guess yeah, Brad Guzan, he was next in terms of playing time. So, uh, real quick for me, I guess. Oh boy, this one's tough. Actually, we have not kept anybody 100% actually, which is hilarious. But which shows the microcosm of our season. But
Yeah.
man. I think ooh, this
Yeah,
is
let
this
me
is
help you out.
legitimately
The
hard.
right answer is do better next year, or you're gone.
Yeah, you think so?
I think that's the
Yeah.
answer.
I mean, he's obviously
Fair.
returning, and that's the thing. It's like we don't really have a choice in the matter. He's our best goalkeeper. Um, yeah, that's kind of
If there's
the
one,
territory.
I think if there's one thing that we learned this season is that actually replacing Brad Guzan is not going to be that simple. Like, unfortunately,
Yeah,
I know people have
yeah,
their gripes with him. I think fair criticisms, but
yeah,
the keeper play without him was not great. So
yep,
to
yep,
me, it's a
yep,
keep.
yep.
Yeah,
FTC
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
sadly, you got to keep it 100%.
Let's
Yeah, but Miguel, yeah, what are you thinking?
I'll say keep him. Like yeah, Mark said something very certain. It's
Yeah,
fine. Keeper. We thought it's easy. I was in the same boat. cussing at him for the mistakes and calling him names and like we need to get rid of Gusan. And then when we finally got rid of Gusan, we actually missed him at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we should bring it back next season. Maybe he can do better. He can
Yeah.
learn from the mistakes, and
Yeah.
he is actually a leader on the field. So I think
Right.
Yeah.
we should put him.
Right. I don't know if he's gonna be learning from any mistakes really, but yeah, at his age.
Yeah,
But
I mean, his biggest mistakes are being caught flat-footed from long-range shots. I don't think he can learn much about that, but
no. Yeah, I don't think his reaction is gonna improve as age goes on. So
The culture says sadly you gotta keep 100% unless you find someone younger, healthier, and unquestionably better.
yep, indeed.
all over. But
So
yeah,
yep. All right. Yeah, I agree with there. And we'll keep it moving. So Miles Robinson,
I mean,
where
that's.
do we have him?
Does anybody not want to keep him?
keep 100. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yep.
keep him.
I think I kind of led that one, but I think it's the logical choice. Obviously, coming back from that injury, there's not like we'd be selling low, so it'd just be
Yeah.
unwise.
Mhm.
Okay. Next up, in terms of playing time, Franco Ibarra. Let's go with you, Miguel.
Uh, Ibarra is one of my question marks for next season because the kid when he jumped out of the bench, he performed. He looks like he was eager to show something or show what he could bring to the field. But I don't know. I don't know. I'll say trade, and get the money, some money out of him. Trade.
Great. Okay. I think it's a do better next year or you're gone. I think he brings energy. He brings that kind of steel in midfields. He's very inexperienced, and that's kind of the crux with him is that as a defensive midfielder, like any defensive midfielder, you're gonna see that they need more seasoning in order for them to be really effective. Like the best ones are usually a little bit over 25, where they really know their bearings. But so I'm in that territory. Michael, what do you think?
I agree. I think, like you said, I think he has still potential for development because he's on the younger side. I think, if I remember correctly, and like a lot of his play seems like it lends itself to needing a little bit more experience. So I'm willing to see that.
Mhm. Mark,
So yeah, do better next year. You're gone.
you better actually.
Yeah, I think both of y'all make good points, and I agree. Like, I think he's a do better next year. Gone, so I'm willing to
Yeah,
give him one more season.
yeah. Okay. Let's see. Dom Dwyer. Let's go with Miguel first.
Uh, Dwyer, man. I mean, he he came from a Nemesis team, and he proved that he wanted to be here. Um, I'll say keep him. I'll say he'll be the future maybe of the team. We can build the forward line around him. Give him some time. He needs more time.
Interesting. That's a wild. Okay. But all right.
I say explore the trade market. Like we took a punt on him. I think he's decent, but I would rather see what you can get back for him and free up the space.
Okay. Michael.
I want to say I want him back, but might not be because the alternative is then him getting traded, or So, uh, he brings a lot of like fire, a lot of personality. That red card sometimes is interesting and funny. so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I don't know if he's gonna like fit or what we want or what kind of the personnel we're gonna bring on. If he's just like redundant or what have you. But I mean, like, that's the thing. I want more players with more personality and more fire more spice, if you will, for this team that's very bland. So, if he stay on, that would be interesting, but I wouldn't be totally sad if he was gone.
Yeah.
The chat is conflicted.
Oh yeah.
Christopher Gonzalez says leave immediately. Connor Watson says 100% keep. Brandon Rice says want back but might not be. So I mean, it's he's a polarizing player for sure.
It's
Definitely.
exactly what I'm talking about. Controversy, like that's what.
Dang,
Yeah, I mean, we're about to give all 4 different answers. So yeah, I think we should. I think we should keep him 100% because as a third string striker, he doesn't cost very much. He brings a lot of veteran presence, and he scores some goals. And yes, it's hilarious when he gets yellow cards in as little playing time as he gets, where he gets yellow card accumulation, like he's suspended because that's like that's just unfathomable, really. But really, I think ultimately, yeah, I mean he's cheap, he's useful enough, and he's hungry, and I think he loves playing here. So
yeah, I do agree with that.
And like Connor's saying, don't build around him. But yeah, I mean, third string.
Yeah.
So okay. Well, we don't all have to agree, but at least 2 of us agreed, so we'll keep him in the keep one. This is gonna look hilarious without context.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, okay. Next up, I guess in terms of playing time, damn. I mean, technically in terms of playing time, Joseph, but we'll leave him last. Raul Coutinho. Real quick. Let's see. Miguel.
Adios, sayonara, Coutinho. I don't like him. Sorry.
Even as a backup?
No, not even as a backup. I like what's his name? This kid.
Rios
Novo
Novo?
better.
Better. Okay.
I like Rios Novo way better. Yeah. Coutinho was a me, so he trade for me. It's a trade.
Trade. I don't know if we have that with
trade.
him, but because
Okay,
I think we have the option. But yeah. Michael.
I feel so milquetoast about this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll just do better next year. You're gone. I honestly don't care so much about Coutinho.
That's the category I'd put him in, and it's just like purely we gotta keep a keeper. Like we can't get rid of all of them, and I would let Rios Novo go. So I think Coutinho you just keep.
Yeah. I think in terms of roster construction, that's where it comes in here, where Rocco Rios Novo, he's got that dual citizenship, right? And so that does add into his favor a little bit, as that kind of thing. But Raul Coutinho, he does not. He also, I mean, yeah, that's a great description. Milquetoast. It's just, yeah, I mean, what did he really do? He gave up a lot of penalties in terms of like
and I mean,
couldn't stop a
Band-Aid.
penalty.
He was brought in as a Band-Aid, so I mean, we don't need Band-Aids next year.
Yeah, I think we could do better. I think we can find better. I think yeah, he should leave immediately, and I think that tipped the scales a little bit.
Boom.
So yeah. Okay, next up, Marcelino Moreno. Let's go with.
This one hurts.
Yeah, I know, right?
Let's go with Mark.
Do better. He's got to do better next year. As much as I've sung his praises in the past, like he did peter off this season. He did slowly lose playing time over the course of the season. Now midfield, of course, is a tricky position for us in general, right? And so I think he's one of those where I would give him a little more benefit of the doubt, but he's got to do better next year.
Okay. Michael.
I want him back, but I honestly don't think he's going to be. So I don't think he fits Gonzo's system or what he's trying to build. I don't think he really fits in. At least that's what seems to be the case. So, I like sometimes what he does. He's very hot and cold, but I would imagine he's not going to be here next year.
Yeah. Miguel.
To me, is do or die next season. I like what I see of him at the beginning, but he started being relegated to the bench a lot. So he gotta show more that he's more capable of, be
Hmm.
here. So to me, it's do better or you'll be gone next year.
Yeah. So that's 2v1. Yeah, essentially it is that. I mean, he's on a high TAM. He is a player that divides opinion. Obviously, he has a lot of ability, but he plays with his head down a little too much, and ultimately, he doesn't work hard enough for the team where you need him to. But he can play numerous number of positions, and in the clutch, he has come through for us time and again. It's very tough. I mean, I would
So
agree.
Brandon Rice
Mhm.
says Moreno would stay if Almada leaves, which I think that is a fair point as well. And
Mhm.
I think for the culture earlier in the chat was saying he likes Moreno more as an eight. That I think that is his
I
probably
think
his best position. But
right. I would agree. I mean, yeah, as more of a kind of roving eight, as a guy that probably doesn't do too work, but yes, definitely. Like if you have dual eights, um, yeah, and one with a little bit more steel, then yeah, you could. I think. Hmm, I think we gotta cut our loss here in trade.
ooh,
Um, I think he's
You get good
useful.
value for him, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, you could, yeah.
I think he's useful for an MLS team that's needs and wants to maybe take a flyer. So I think that is 2v1-1, I think. So yeah, we'll go with trade. Let's see. Ronaldo Cisneros. Okay. I'm gonna say. I mean, I mentioned this when we were in person, but yeah, he's oddly enough, he's our best striker that best backup striker that we've had, which isn't saying a lot, but he scored a lot as a backup, and he works hard. He can play multiple positions. As a backup striker that's on the cheap, ah, we could do worse. We could do worse. I just don't want to see him play over a striker that can score and you know need,
Right.
needs playing time. But Miguel, what do you
Yeah.
think?
He's the future. You're right. You're correct. We can rely on him to come on the field for anybody. If we end up hiring Ronaldo CR7, maybe he can be his sub. But yeah, the kid is bright. The kid has future, and yeah, we keep him 100%.
Yeah. Just to follow up in the chat, Name it said Moreno, 100% keep Moreno. I'm not gonna lie, his dribbling is so good and he helps us so much. Connor is saying leave. Mark Ronaldo.
Yeah, I was just reading the chat as well. Christopher Gonzalez, I say keep. He runs the most when he plays. He definitely tries when he's on the field. He's a hard worker. And Lama Rama would also keep Ronaldo. I think it's like I think Miguel kind of alluded to it as well. I think mainly it's really, or I think you did, AJ. It's really the playing time, right? Like when you see 28 appearances, 7 goals, that's obviously not startling statistics, but like I wouldn't get rid of him this offseason, right? Maybe put him in he's got to show me more this
Yeah,
season upcoming. But then
yeah.
it's also like if we get a potent striker and then he's like a backup or a second striker with that striker, I could see him doing better in that role. So,
Mhm.
like I think there's a number of possibilities and I think there's more reasons to keep him than get rid of him.
Yeah. Michael.
Yeah, I think it's do better next year. You're gone as well. And I think it's pretty kind of a foregone conclusion that we're going to see him next season too. I think a lot of people think that he's kind of Gonzo's boy.
Mm,
I think we'll see him again next season. I think it's pretty
yeah.
locked on that. You can quote
Mm,
me on that.
mm. Okay, okay. All right. Next up then, Caleb Wiley.
Oh yeah. Future
Let's go with Mike.
baby.
Future. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Miguel?
definitely future.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
That kid
yeah,
is the future. I agree.
yeah,
He is. In some years he'll be starting 11 for sure. And
yeah.
that kid,
Mm-hmm.
his roof is way too high. We should not let him go anywhere else. Keep him
Yeah.
100%.
But it'll be also be interesting because I mean, yeah, there was a pretty effective timeshare a little bit with Andrew Gutman this season, but ultimately, does he need to play more? And can we keep both? That will be the question: is will there be enough playing time for both of them? I mean, they have been playing, yeah, where Andrew Gutman, he either plays as a left center back, and then Wiley as a wing back, or Wiley as a left winger. But it kind of works. There maybe isn't enough playing time, but I think defensively we want to develop him in order to get probably the biggest bang for a buck. And yeah, it's a question if we should. Well, we keep him, but do we loan him to somewhere in Europe? That will be the question for me.
Mm.
But the future
Mm.
nonetheless. So all right, here we go. Next up, Santiago Sosa, Mr. Troublemaker.
Oof. Just have to say, very, very, very disappointed in that
Yep.
news. And like finding out, I mean, like it happened a week before, right? But just finding out in the lead up to Pride weekend, like, dude, come on, what are you doing, man? Like,
Yeah.
so silly, so ridiculous. He's got to show more next season. He's probably our best six. Um, he's on a high salary. I think he's got to show us more.
Okay, do better next year. You're gone. Okay, interesting. Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't want to sound like, I want to defend what he did, but then again, in the heat of the game, sometimes we say things that we don't mean. So I'm gonna just, throw that out. Maybe he made a mistake, but that would not define him for the player that he is. I think he is one of the great assets that this team has at this moment, or the best defensive mid that we have. So I will keep him. I will keep him for next year. 100%. I will keep him.
Okay, Michael.
Yeah, so what will kind of define him going forward is whether or not he learns from it, which I think he's a smart guy. He's gonna. So, I'm willing to, if he learns his lesson and moves on from it, does the suspension, then, I'm
Hmm.
okay with that. So,
Agreed.
so yeah, then I'll put him also. I guess I would want to keep him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with all what you guys said. I mean, it's basically yeah. I want to see some kind of, to a degree, Thiago Almada growth, where yeah he
Mm-hmm.
keeps his head down, and yeah, basically is a model citizen during his time here, and hopefully he does continue to show out on the field because yeah, it has been that like when he's on the pitch for us, it has been good signs, good returns, and you
Yeah,
see a
and
real
he's not
player in there.
been able to consistent. So I mean, if we see him with
Right,
Big thing.
consistency, he might even be much better.
right.
Exactly. That's a big thing for me. So just catch up on the chat real quick.
Mm.
Just going back to Wiley, Caleb Wiley. Most people agree. Future Brandon Rice. Wiley's tough one. Where does he get minutes if Goodman's healthy? Christian Gonzalez, I see him more as a left wing. And then talking about Sosa, Connor Watson, 100% keep. Christian Gonzalez, do better or leave. Brandon Rice, do better or leave. Connor Watson, do better or leave. And so, like, I think with Brandon Rice, health is a key factor. Has to prove he can be available. So sets do better for me. He needs to be more consistent. And so that's, I think
100%.
yeah, I think we all agree there. Where it's like you see the talent, especially when he first arrived, but like between the injuries and just general inconsistencies, it's been stop start for him. So,
Yeah,
you see, he's got to show us this season the player
right,
that we think he is.
right. And to be fair, his first season with us, I mean, he definitely showed a lot of his ability. He did stay
Exactly.
healthy. It was just a matter of yeah, this he played too much probably at the young age that he is, and his body
Mm-hmm.
broke down, and you're seeing that
Sure.
this season. But okay, next up, Alan Franco, Miguel, what you
Well,
got?
it is gonna be good. Be good.
Are you a believer?
Yes. No, Alan Franco. Alan Franco came as I don't know, like a one of those players that I didn't trust at the beginning. Then he gained my trust throughout the process of the season, and now at the end of the season, it was like kind of like, bro, what are you doing? Like he was even captain at some point. So to me, a simple, do better or you gone next season. Do better or you
Okay,
gone.
yeah, Mark.
Yeah, I went back and forth with Franco, but I do think it's ultimately a do better or you're gone. Like the way I see it, our four center backs next season are probably Robinson, Campbell, Franco, and is it Pujara? Yeah.
Purata, yeah.
So
Morata.
Purata. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Mhm.
Parata.
yeah. So
Juanjo Parata.
right. And so yeah, like I think you probably can't thin yourself out too much, and then like honestly, do I want the club to go back into the market for a center back? Not really. Like they don't exactly have a great history of it. So it's like he's here. He's not very consistent. At times he's okay. He's got to show more next year.
Yeah, Michael.
Yeah, I think I'm going to ultimately end up at he needs to do better. Show us one more year, or if that he's gone. I mean, it's like I feel like I'm suffering a little bit of recency bias because like I remember most of the season I was very down on him, um, but the last I think 5 or 6 games he has shown a lot of heart for the club. I mean, and I was telling AJ, it's almost as if like he had his Michael Jordan flu game when he played through that crushed hand. And I just like that's the kind of tenacity that I really like to see. That was really awesome to see. I'm just like, this guy is not coming back in the second half, and there he was starting it up again. So that impressed me. But again, it's like I'm worried it's a little bit of recency bias. If we see the Franco that we saw the last, 6 or so games for next season, I'm more than happy to have him. But if it's like the first half of the season again, I really like that. So that's do better next year. You're gone.
Yeah, you guys all bring up some fantastic points, and yeah, the one thing for me is how high of a wage he's on, and you know, basically if he sits at any point, ah man, he's an albatross. So
Yeah.
it's almost like you have to start him, and so it is a thing where, oh man, I think we should trade him and we should find some value
Okay.
and just
Both.
I think we can keep other guys and still probably find maybe someone at for more value than what they're on. But three of you guys on do better than next year. We'll keep them there. Next
Yeah.
up, Bro and Mark.
Ooh, I guess he's got to show more. I mean, like, look, it was a poor season. Nobody's gonna come out of the season with like, you know, a shining. Well, nobody except Almada, I would say, but pretty much everyone else has something to prove. I think so. He's got to do better next year. I think the right back spot is pretty much his to lose. I know like Ronald Hernandez is there and so on, but he's the preferred starter and has been for some time. I do think he's decent. And I think probably too when other areas of the team get addressed, you'd see better performances out of him. But out of just the interest of fairness, yeah, sure, he can play better.
Yeah. Okay, Michael.
So who is Brooks Lennon now? Oh boy.
Mhm.
Um, I want him back, but he might not be. Is what I'll go with him.
Mhm.
I like him. He's a workhorse. He runs everything down. Whenever everything seems gloomy and doomy on the field, he's someone who's just constantly putting in the effort to try and right the ship. I like that kind of effort. But I could definitely see him leaving, but I would like to see him next year.
Miguel.
Uh, like Mark said, nobody's gonna, you know, be a preferred or get high grades in these tests
Yeah.
because well, as everybody failed. But like to me, also it should be in a do better or gone
Mhm.
next season. He will be back, and for sure, I don't think the front office will let a player like him gone.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, do better.
Yeah. He is. I think he does have an option. I think. And so if Carlos Bocanegra is, I think he probably is going to keep him. He is one of those guys that has been favored for a long time. Yeah, before he even was on the team, Brooks Lennon was a guy that Carlos Bocanegra wanted for a couple years. So I think it's probably that. So yeah, it's probably in that territory of he's got to have a little bit more end product. Um, you know, this is the thing too. Like defensively, he's fairly solid for a right back, and attack wise, he does enough. Like we could do a lot worse than Brooks Lennon in this league. So and it's just a weird thing there. But okay, here we go. Juanjo Purata, Miguel. Where do
LGP
you have
Junior.
LGP
Yeah.
I like the guy. He can score for sure. So
Yeah.
I'll say keep him. I mean, like again, we might sound repetitive. We're repeating the same thing, but keep in mind we were in the market for central defenders for a while, and we couldn't find anybody that fit that spot. That's why I think we stressed so much on Robinson to the point that he got injured. But I like this one. I like the fact that he's eager to play. He's eager to show up. He reminds me a lot of LGP. And yeah, I think he can definitely stay. He's a 2 thumbs up for me.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, man, like he's as dominant as it gets in this league in the air. And then it's one of those things where he helps solidify us at the back at a moment where we really needed it. Where also though, defensively there is a little bit left to be desired, but I think ultimately he does enough, especially for this league, and probably on a cheap enough. And I don't think if the FO stays the coach stays the same, that Michael.
He's a keep 100% for me.
Yeah.
No arguments, nothing. Final.
Yeah. Mark.
Same. He probably was our best center back this season, and so especially with Miles coming off a serious injury, I think your starting pairing is Purata and somebody.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So not even Miles 100%. He's gonna have to earn
Well,
his
that's it. We
placement.
don't even know if he'll be ready at the beginning of the season, So, and I think that they probably, I mean, we kind of need to learn our lessons, maybe in terms of how we bring players back from serious injuries. So, it might be wise to just take it slow with Miles. So,
Yeah.
but I think Purata, in that sense, Purata is 100% keep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. This one might be fairly easy. Andrew Gutman. Michael.
Oh yeah.
Keep 100%.
Okay. Miguel.
Same. Unanimous. It's gonna be unanimous. 100%.
Same page about this one.
Don't be so fast. Mark. Yeah. Keep 100%.
100%, yeah,
Keep
same.
100%.
Nothing to add. He's probably our most consistent player this season.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw a little bit of spice in here.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So
I know how much you like spice.
oh, I love my spice. And but this is the thing. Yeah, so okay. I am in the mode of keeping him because absolutely he's hella useful. He is a player that has saved our butts multiple times this season. And all the plaudits that we just gave him earlier in the episode. But Caleb Wiley. That bit there, in order for us, okay, we have to determine what type of team we're going to be, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the president that's brought in, the coach if he stays, the technical director if he stays, will Andrew Gutman will he be needed for what we're trying to do? Or what are we trying to do? Are we trying to win now? Are we trying to build for the future? That's been the problem. And you have a player that's Andrew Gutman is a win now player. Like he deserves to be on a contender. He deserves to be on a team that can vie for an MLS Cup, a supporter shield. Like I think we could find some trade value from moving him on that could really help us in figuring out the rest of the squad because it's this. Yeah, we may let go of a few players this offseason, a good number of players, but that windfall of Gam and Tam, or just Gam nowadays, but he would really bring a lot, and we need a lot. We need a lot to get a lot better. So I'm in that mode, but yeah.
Connor Watson in the chat thinks that we could maybe do a three at the back with Gutman at left center back, and then in that way you could play Caleb Wiley at left wing back.
But does that develop him defensively so that you can get the max dollar for him, or should he go on loan and we keep Andrew Gutman and he's our starting left back? And
that's what I'm leaning towards loan. I think also there's a way to make both of them like in the same lineup work.
Yeah, and it's possible. Of course, it's possible. But I think it does hinder a little bit of the development, and I think we need more forwards on the pitch than two defensive players.
Yeah.
It just ultimately is that.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a keep, and yeah, let's move on. Let's move on to Luis Araujo. Miguel.
Eu não sei, eu não falo português, eu não sei. Luis Araujo, he started strong and his lights start dimming out, but I will say do better next year or you're gone.
Michael.
I agree. I think he's gonna want to. I don't think we saw everything he has. I think we saw a glimpse of it. So, I mean, like for the small amount of time it was. I mean, lights up SKC like that. It was memorable. But yeah, I think he can get back on that horse. I just think things have to align correctly, and you can see that special player come out again. I don't think things have aligned correctly for a long time. So hopefully next year things will get back to some normalcy, and I think you'll see him shine a bit more. So I'll give him at least another year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Mark. Yeah. We haven't gone with you, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just reading the chat. It's another divisive player. Christopher Gonzalez keep. Connor Watson out now. Trade sell anything. Turad Garba trade him. Ryan Morgan do better out. Brandon Rice feels like you were pod committed. I don't think you'd get any takers, so he's coming back. I do think there is possibly trade value within the league, but then I'm also like a little bit scared of what he could do, because like I do think a I guess motivated
Oh, by the way, my headphone went out, but here we go. Hold on, guys. Can you hear me? Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, flurry of technical issues in this one, but okay. One's in the chat if you can still hear me. Yay, yay. Yes, cool. I can't hear you. This is fun. Whee! Okay. Can somebody talk and so I can do a little check? Check. Hmm. Can't hear anything, but Mark, you should continue this episode until I can figure it out. Oh, you can hear. Oh, but not anybody else. Interesting. Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
Write it out to me. Oh, you just my check.
Only AJ. Huh.
Not sure.
Yeah, we can hear you, but I don't know about that.
Yeah. We can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
But
yes.
The chat is saying they can't hear us. We're good. Okay, we're back. Woo! Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Brandon, I promise we're not drawing this out. So, time out. Hey, chat, can you hear AJ?
He's talking. He was talking for a while.
Okay. So,
Oh, I mean, you had that opinion about Gutman, and now look what happened.
yeah. All right, chat. So, can you hear all of us? Ones if you can hear all of us. No, and so okay, so we can hear a negative on AJ. All right, so now
it's just AJ. It seems like.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone but AJ. All right. So. Specifically came with a wad of cash. I would say cut your losses at that point, free up the DP spot, right, and just start fresh.
You can cuss. Nobody can hear.
Not that. Not that much.
Yeah. That's the Transformers mic. Oh gosh. Nope.
That mic is not very good. Oh, we can hear on the stream again.
Wait. I can't hear a word you're saying right now, man. It sounds like a voice distorter. It's real bad.
Yeah, are you in witness?
What are they doing with Mark Mike? Keep doing it for everybody.
Yeah. But I think that was. But yeah, because I don't think they can hear us.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I don't hear anything.
They're voting now.
Yeah. Oh, I can hear the stream now.
Yes.
I can hear it now.
We can hear you all now.
Woo! Okay. We're good. Just not AJ. I can hear Mark and the crew. All right, cool. All right, so we'll go forward with this. AJ out. Okay, I'll give my answer at the end. In terms of, all right, who do we have left on the board? Because we already did Arujo, right? I think we'll.
Joseph Martinez.
So first of all, is it going to be regular Joseph or man bun Joseph? Let's go with man bun Joseph. Dude, I think Joseph. You know, I am a firm believer in clean breaks, right? Like I think sometimes it's in terms of certain moves, it's about timing, and I just feel like this may be the end of the road. I understand that he was scoring a lot, especially coming off of the bench this season, but his overall, he's just not the same player overall, and it's difficult to accept. It's like because we all know why. It's because of the injury mainly, but I think you explore the trade market with him. Yeah, I think you explored the trademark. Yeah, trader train. Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't know how much value Joseph has outside of MLS. Um, but he's still a top jersey seller in MLS. Any MLS team that brings him in, they're gonna market the shit out of it. Like, all-time leading, one of the top all-time MLS leading goal scorers and so forth. I see. I think you have to see what you can get for him. It's just the relationships kind of seems beyond repair. I'll put it like that. And this may be the time to just kind of make a clean break. Oh yeah. That's right. I gotta pass. Okay. So Miguel, well, what say you on Joseph?
Joseph Martinez. Even though we want the fairy tale to continue, we know we will never see the 2018 Joseph Martinez ever again. Unfortunately, we gotta snap back to reality and make sure to take uh, the best decision for the team. And at this point, with his contract close to finish with us, I think we should also get a good some money out of him and trade him or sell him. Any team in the MLS would like to have him, so we can, probably get some Yankees out of there. So I say trade him right now, and give him a good farewell. He's been good to us, and let him go while he's still on top.
Yeah. And Mike.
I'm gonna sound a little bit like a coward just to get a piggyback on what you guys said. You guys you nailed it. A clean break is necessary. The writing's on the wall. It has been for a little bit. I think he's given what he can. At this point, it's like just beating a dead horse. I feel like trying to get blood from a stone. I hate to see it because it's not gonna come. It's not gonna be the way that you want it to be again, like it was. So it's just like setting yourself up for heartbreak all the time. Once in a while he has his flurries of what he used to be, and it's wonderful. It's a spectacle to see. But I think another team can have that. They can have his, Golazos once in a while, and maybe his you said the fairy tale I think is coming to an end, and it's hard to admit because everyone wants to say no, it can't be. Oh, it's just a little bit another game. Another game, we'll see him again. He'll come back again, and I just don't think. I think it's a little. I think it's naive. Yeah, exactly. Oh, he scored. Oh, he ran a little bit or something. I think it's just naive to not see the writing on the wall. As hard as that is to say, so it's like no one wants it to be like this, but right. I think inevitably it is. So yeah.
And I think that's a hallmark in sports, especially soccer. I mean, like, it's rare that, like, even with the top players, that they stay with one team their entire career. Like, it's just for different reasons. It's just what it is. Just going through the chat real quick. Connor out. No. Brandon Rice. Yeah, pre-injury Joseph and post-injury Joseph. Connor Watson. New manager, he stays, but with Pineda, he leaves. Turad Garba, keep Joseph and find some good guys around him. Brandon Rice, if Joseph can't go 90, I'm not sure he is value or has value in the DP spot. Hard to have a solid decision without knowing more about his health. And so I think those are all good points. Like, for one, I do think like the cycle of cycling through coaches has to be stop. We can't keep doing it, and we can't keep going Joseph versus this guy. Joseph, like in the past, like, okay, there were reasons why, and like for the most part we sided with Joseph on those, but something's got to give at a certain point. I think the thing too with his contract is, I think it's $1 million a year, right? Is it $1 million salary? It's it's 7 figures, I'm pretty sure. And so
yeah. He's in like the $5 to $7 million territory. I don't know if but how about now? But anyway, yeah, go on.
Yeah. Okay, so they still can't hear you, but
Yeah.
yeah. So he's in that $5 to $7 million territory. I believe 2023 would be the last season of his contract as well, and so it's all of that, like because if this season doesn't go well and you just lose him on a free, that would be really wasted value, and
Oh yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's
So
it's difficult. It's a difficult
yes.
decision. It's the one that nobody wants to make, and yeah, ultimately it would be Boca trading him, and
Mhm.
uh, that's just whatever, man. But
Yeah.
I
I hope it's
think
this. So I hope it's not. Sorry to cut you off, but I hope
no.
it's not a within MLS. I hope it's not intra MLS.
Yeah.
I hope it's
Yeah.
to an Liga MX team or
Mm.
the Brazil league. Anything else, but where we have to see him again, and he's a vengeful one. If he scores against us, oh, yeah,
It's
I
gonna hurt.
loathe to see what kind of reaction, celebration. I mean, I have an inkling he won't celebrate against us, but it will still hurt like hell to see him score, or even just score for another team in general. Like seeing him score like a goal of the week, and we have to like, oh man, yeah, because he's our boy. We have to vote for him in the goal of the week. It's like, oh no, no, don't want it, don't want to do it, and
That's I think Mexico is a good shout because one, North American League, and two, they've got the money. So
yeah,
if like if a big Mexican team wants to come in and
hmm
pay something decent for Joseph, sure.
hmm hmm
But I guess my opinion is always I just always felt like he has a little more value within MLS, especially since he's a big shirt seller.
Yeah.
yeah,
I think he would be a huge draw. I could see somebody like like Cincinnati. Uh,
Oh
you know,
God.
yeah,
hmm
I know. I felt icky just even uttering that, but
yeah,
it's a they're a
I
playoff
mean, we
team
got a
now,
preview of it that one time when
right?
he traded jerseys with on Cincy, and then
yeah,
also took some pictures. So I was like, oh my
hmm
God, what is happening?
Right.
yeah.
Could you imagine? It's
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, like Cincinnati are, they're starting to look competent. Brandon Vasquez is doing little bits up there. Like they've
They've
always had a
mhm,
good supporters as well.
mhm. They
But
have a
I mean,
good
but
two striker system. I don't know if they get rid of Brenner. Obviously, they're not getting rid of Vasquez.
mhm.
But yeah, I think a Midwest team that would be interesting. I mean, maybe a Chicago Fire could you know, kind of throw a lot of resources at us. Maybe,
Mhm.
but
Maybe
uh,
in Austin.
yeah, maybe in
Follow Chaboka.
Austin. Yeah, exactly. So it'll be very interesting. We'll put Joseph Martinez in the twin and keep 100% just for fun. But
Yeah, what is that like?
but anyway,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Right,
right.
right. He looks more like pre-injury Joseph anyway, so yeah, we'll keep him there. But guys, yes, thank you for going along with us for this like kind of marathon on the tier list. But we're almost done. Let's any questions that you guys have in the chat, let's have it right now. Anything for anybody on the panel, so to speak. But let's read out some of them. Now is this a Verizon commercial? Let's see.
So I
Taraz.
recorded a couple from earlier on.
Yeah, perfect.
So let's see. There's Daniel Graham said, "Do we try and loan out any of the homegrowns or move on from some of them?" I think we kind of covered that a little bit, but we didn't touch on
hmm
that earlier. Um,
hmm
if anyone wants to further go into that after the tier list, go ahead.
hmm hmm Yeah, I think it's in terms of the loans, like I was mentioning, it's like either I think we should keep either Gutman or loan Wiley or play Wiley or sell Gutman. And yes,
Yeah.
the AJ outs are at 79%. So yep. But and in terms of Jackson Conway, I think he probably needs a loan. he probably doesn't
Yeah.
need to play for the
Also,
twos anymore.
Don Froza earlier really wanted us to address the fact that we play on turf. I mean, I was
Mm,
thinking about it. Do we think the turf hurts the team in any way? Obviously, it was the whole thing about the injuries earlier on in the season. I don't think it really has anything to do with that. However,
mm,
players like Zlatan in the past have said that they refuse to play on turf. Do you think it hurts, the club's legitimacy in like a
mm,
global perspective to have a
mm.
turf field over grass?
No, I don't think it really has a really big issue, really. I think ultimately it's something that Zlatan, it's an excuse to a degree, because most of the turf, yes, has issues with and people players have issues on turf, but the kind of turf that we
Hmm.
play on, okay, maybe it may have led to one or two of our players, maybe, but in large and whole, it's a very soft, um, it's a very soft kind of texture. It's a very soft, type of surface that has a lot of bounce, and you know, it's not going to be, I think, a big factor. I think the fluke injuries are really, it's a little bit
Yeah.
maybe of how hard we train, how much maybe we don't have, uh, rest and rehab in between, and it's a big part of that, I think, because you saw the players that more or less had the most wear and tear. Players that had played a lot in the past few years. So I think it's a bit of that. But what do you guys think?
Um, because I've also spoken to people who've like played soccer growing up, and there is like a fairly strong sentiment about it, So
Hmm.
I kind of get it. I also think too, like with us being a World Cup host, they're gonna roll out the grass for that. Like, there's no
Yeah.
way that that's gonna be on turf. So, um, maybe that's a catalyst for us to think about playing on grass. I know that'd be like a huge undertaking considering we share a stadium with the Falcons, but I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily dismiss the discussion. Let's put it that way. But I think it's unlikely that we do a big changeover anytime soon. And like yeah, I mean, I think it seems to play fairly true. I guess it doesn't like seem to be that harsh turf. So.
Hmm. Okay. Anybody else?
I think it's a soft excuse, like you said, and Philadelphia uses the excuse any chance they can get.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Yeah, it's like, yeah, we're going to like you mentioned, we're gonna swap it out for the World Cup, just because we don't want any excuses. We want to get that bid, and we want them to play at the Benz. So yeah, it's gonna happen. But yeah, it's just that there's not really a lot of substantiated, science on it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, if there were, then okay, yeah, I'm all ears. I want to listen to it, but it's just not the case.
Hmm.
Okay, Denis Palacios asks, if Joseph leaves, would you rather bring in a seasoned MLS striker or a striker from Argentina, South America? Whew.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess I'd have to do my research, but I don't know like the players that I really want to replace Joseph that are within MLS.
Yeah.
I'd rather, I think, see what talents we can
Mhm.
find, like legitimate
Yeah,
talents, not like
Mhm.
hidden gems that we've been trying to do, but like
Yeah.
legitimately playing, scoring, like starring for their team kind of talent.
Yeah.
yeah.
Besides, they're cheap down there. They're cheap in South America. That's a market to go. So
Mm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, South America has proven to be very hit or miss. So I would have to say that it would have to be somebody that uh, checks all the boxes of what we need,
Hmm.
and is not a project, and not a U22 DP type of player. Like, we need somebody that's in their prime, or like,
Yeah,
but in
a
South
proven
America
commodity.
or Mexico. Yeah, exactly. In
Hmm.
that
Yeah,
territory, in those
I heard
leagues.
I heard Cristiano Ronaldo's leaving Manchester United.
There
Ju-
you go again. There
not
you
gonna
go
take him.
again.
Don't
Yeah.
want
But I
him.
mean, like if you read any article that came out over the last couple of years about Atlanta United, they pretty much say every time Atlanta just hasn't hit on their DP signings, and at this point, that is a necessity. We just have to, and that's why it's got to be a tried and proven commodity that comes over. I don't care if it comes from South America, like Brazilian top team or something, or anything like from South America or from Europe, anywhere, as long as it's someone who can absolutely get the job done, because we have to hit on it next time. It's just,
Yeah.
there's no excuse.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's been our Achilles for a couple seasons now already. Is that we're too reliant on Jose Martinez, and he hasn't put the ball in the back of the net with regularity / not started. So yeah, now we're not scoring, and then this is why we're in this kind of malaise a little bit. As a club, is that we cannot put the ball in the back of the net when we need to, and
And
yeah.
that kind of segues pretty well into a question Brandon Rice asked a little earlier
Mhm.
about, with all the turnover, how confident are we in the FO transitioning things and getting the ship righted?
How confident? Yeah, let's put it a percentage. Let's do it. Miguel, out of 100, what's your confidence in the FO for turning this around?
That sounds more like a joke.
I know, right?
I will say, good lord. I To be honest, I almost spit my liver and my lungs out yesterday. It was the first time that we didn't make the playoffs since the beginning of times. So for them to turn this around, they gotta start a change from within the front office itself. So I will say my vote of confidence in them right now, as today, is less than 10%. I'll say
Hmm,
5%.
okay,
Not even.
5%.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not.
Okay, okay. Michael,
I'd say 50%, because really truly believe it relies exclusively on what.
am I
Still
here?
slightly, but you're good now.
Yeah, yeah, it's sputtering a little bit, but yeah, I'm probably at like a 12%. It's but I think it's with this caveat. At the Are they gonna bring us back to glory? Are they gonna bring us back to an MLS Cup or Supporter Shield or trophies? No.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna happen with these guys.
Yeah,
Not
I
with
agree with
Boca
that.
in charge. And so I think that's the barometer. That's what that's what the fans expect, and anything less is gonna fall short of expectations. So yeah, it's that 12% is probably even optimistic, really, at this point. It's pretty case in point. Boca Dagger needs to go, and Pineda, if he goes with him, I'm not sure a lot of love lost, but
Yeah.
that's just kind of how a bad season kind of goes, though. Like a lot of people would just
Yeah.
want to clear house, but I think there is. We look at this tier list, there are some bones of a good roster, but
Mm-hmm.
it's it's man, it's not even like 1 through 3. It's just like what are we trying to do? What's our
Yeah.
identity?
How did they describe it? Hercules Gomez, a Beverly Hills dumpster fire, I think is what they described it.
It's
I can't
not
disagree with
inaccurate.
that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really not inaccurate. And so it's we're dumping money, but we're just literally lighting it on fire. And
Yeah.
whew, it's
Yeah.
something that needs to be fixed. Needs to be fixed fast. There's, I mean, just looking at this, like, this stream, like, obviously people care. There's
Yeah.
just in
Yeah.
the short time, there's a lot of people that have talked, chatted, have viewed, and the fact that we've been going for almost like 2 hours and 30 minutes, and people obviously care, and there's on scale, like not all the fans are here obviously, but I think if we extrapolate that, there are a lot of upset fans. There are a lot of fans that want to see change and change happen fast, and it's a big off season for us. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting-ish. Although that first domino with the president will be super super important. But yeah,
So
you guys. Mhm.
keep your questions coming. If you have any more of them in the chat, I do have one other thing I wanted to pick your guys' brains about.
Yeah.
So Gonzo said in the interview the other night after the loss for the last game, he said that he wants to keep relatively the same style as this year, depending obviously on players going in and out, because he wants to build an identity of playing out the back, the kind of the way we've been doing. And my question then to you guys is, should Atlanta keep playing with this style versus, as one of the Pilgrim, I guess his name, the interviewer was asking, well, what about playing directly instead of out at the back? And he says, well, we don't have the pieces for that, but we might. And he's thinking, well, even though if we do get the pieces for more direct play, I still want to kind of keep it with this, the culture, the identity, and the playing out the back that we've been doing. What do you guys think about that?
I don't think. No, go ahead, Mark. Yep.
I think that playing out of the back has a lot of merits, and I think that being able to do it, and specifically being able to pass through the press, is good. Being able to keep the ball certain times is good, but we've really been missing just that attack that scares people. Like we've been missing having attackers that puts defenders on the back of their heels, and so even within that, I think you can be more direct, and I think we need to be more direct and find the pieces to be more direct. Because like the last few years now, it's just been the same, like U-shaped passing, not really threatening, and then when you're doing that, you actually become vulnerable because teams aren't scared of your attack. They press you, they win the ball back in dangerous areas, and you're on the back of your heels. So I think if we're gonna do that, it needs to be more dynamic. There needs to be more diagonals. The play needs to be quicker in general. So like if you want to keep this style, that's fine, but like one way or another, the tempo has to be upped.
Yeah.
I think it's this. Pineda can say that he wants to play out of the back, and maybe press from the front, counter press, all that type of stuff. But does he know how to coach a team that plays that way?
Good question.
I haven't really seen a ton of that. I think I've seen some encouraging play at times, but it's I think you see too many players have lapses in concentration. You have too much of a leaky / soft midfield, and that's why our defenses breach so easily pretty much every game. And yeah, I think ultimately, yes, the attack is also the super duper important part here, where we lack so much of the cohesiveness that we need for the players that is there a way that they can play where they it looks like, okay, yeah, that makes sense why we have a guy, okay, that can run in behind. We have a guy that can play that through ball behind. You have willing runners. You have players that are willing to pass and move. I mean, this last match was a microcosm of it. Like, just so static. Just a team that does not move, does not run for each other. Like, it's just like that's on the coach to have the players run for each other. Like that, it's. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Miguel, you have any thoughts?
I got a few. I've been listening to you guys. To be honest, I like the coach. He's a great motivator, but I think he he got big shoes to fill. In this case, this team still have pretty big demands for a coach like Pineda. Um, in my point of view, I think if we're gonna restructure the team, we should start from the coach and have the coach decide what kind of players he needs and what kind of soccer he's gonna play. With that said, I don't know if you'll remember specifically Tata way of play. It was very fun to watch. Why? Because it was very vertical, very outgoing, straight,
with the verticality.
attacking, and it was very fun. It was enjoyable because we were going all or nothing, and everybody was pushing forward, and we pushed the other teams, and we scored, and it was fun, and that what makes this trademark in this team. But we cannot keep committing the same mistakes as previous years to bring players before the coach is assigned to the team. I don't know what's going to happen to Pineda. I don't know if he's going to stay or he's going to leave. But whatever the decision is made, we need to start building our foundation with the coach's decisions towards the players. And then we go, what kind of soccer we're going to play. We're going to start from the back. We're going to go to the front, etc., etc. But yeah, those are my thoughts in that area, and you
Mhm.
know, I might be wrong, I might be right, but that's the way I think, and hopefully, like we addressed before, it's been 5 years. We have made several mistakes that we could learn from. We already won this thing. Let's, if something's working, don't change the formula. That,
Mhm.
that I was a very firm believer of that. But since we already did, I think we have like one survivor from that cup, which is Gusan and Joseph, two survivors from that cup.
Mhm.
Uh, it's time for, like, again, restructure, rebuild. Let's start
Mhm.
over. And I have hopes, and I trust that somebody up there in the front office will do the right thing for the team, because what happened this season is not fair for us. It's not fair for all the people that show up yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
for all the fans that keep going game after game after game,
Yep.
and we still have the high numbers in when it comes to fans on the stands. So, you know, be a little more empathetic with the people that actually cares about the team and do the right thing for us. Just
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mhm.
Well said.
Yeah, no, it's well
Yeah,
said.
I
It's
wanted to just say one.
take over. Mhm.
Sorry, AJ. There's just one thing Miguel said that I really feel like we need to hit home is we need to get we need to get killers. Like we need to
Mhm.
get people who want to be here to win, not
Mhm.
as projects. I think as one of you said earlier as well.
Mhm.
We need guys who are gonna get the job done. Atlanta wants to win right now. We need to win right now.
Mhm.
We need to really come back in a strong, powerful way. We're not here to coddle players, develop them. I mean, obviously there are ones that we have to in certain ways, but we really, when it comes to the signings we need to make of the players that need to be here to win, we need to find those players and sign them, not develop them, not get projects. Because I mean, we've seen what happens when that occurs too often. And
Mhm.
like I said, we need to win. We need to get at least competitive again, for Christ's
Mhm.
sake. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that's, I mean, when you said that, Miguel, I was like, that is 100% correct.
Yeah, it's fully that. We need to find our identity again, and part of that is with the win now players. And yeah, you can have, you know, 5-10% of the team be some players that are ones for the future, but not ones where you're relying on them for production, like a
Mm-hmm.
Barco, like a Almada, even though he has produced, but in the past, Eric Lopez, in the past, well, I mean, in the current right now, um, I mean, what it is like Caleb Wiley, like fantastic player with a fantastic future, but he's still a little bit raw, and
Mm-hmm.
he's not a win now player. Like it's you know, it's one of those. It's okay if we send guys on loan. Let them
Yeah.
develop somewhere else, and then bring them back.
And
Where
not
it's
just
like,
players. I mean,
yeah,
it's not just players because
hmm
Gonzalo is a developing coach.
yep,
That's
hmm
another area where we don't need development. We need killers right now. So
hmm yep,
That's a great
exactly.
point. Yeah.
So it's exactly that. Like Miguel said, we may be wrong, we may be right, but yeah, what I think we're most interested in is hearing what you guys have to say, and definitely, yeah, thank you all for dropping your comments in the chat throughout the entire stream. Definitely don't forget to leave some comments in the actual episode when it drops as well. Love to engage more with you guys, and also the Discord as well, which Michael is graciously moderating. And yeah, always some fun conversation going on there. But yeah, if anything else as well, yeah, find these wonderful gents on their social media. Let's go with Miguel first. Where can the good people find you?
El Travieso ATL and all platforms I have, I guess Instagram, Twitter, the ones that I actually check.
Yeah,
uh,
nice.
but but yeah, I mean, thank you guys for having me tonight. It's been great. It's been a while. I enjoy your company so much. I enjoy your
Nice.
your points of view, and I respect you all. And again, thank you. Very very humble experience. Thank you.
Dude, thank you so much, man. Yeah, Miguel, always a
Absolutely.
pleasure. And yeah, dude, you rock, man. And the tasty food that you graciously allowed us to have a little bit of yesterday, so good. So still thinking about it. but okay, Michael, where can the good people find you?
oh, I mean, you guys can just reach out to Atlanta United Fan TV and it'll find its way to me. I mean, you can find me on the Discord too. You can in any of the YouTube chats. I mean, I'll be there. So or posting comments on any of the YouTube videos that are dropped. Um, Pretty easy to see me and pretty visible. My accounts are just like usually Michael Weiss or Weiss on the Discord. So if you see me, say hi. Um, and I mean, we've got a lot of plans, a lot of good stuff coming for next year too. I mean, we're super excited about the Apple TV deal. That's going to be huge. We want to do some really interesting stuff for like community competitions within our Discord, like who can come up with the best bracket for the World Cup, like who's the most accurate. Perhaps we'll do one even for the MLS playoffs that are coming up, even though we're not in it. But so yeah, just keep your eyes peeled for that in the Discord. If you're not a member of it, absolutely join it. It's a lot of fun. And then you also get to know about all these types of things we're doing as well, charity events, live events, other things like that. So stay tuned for 2023. It's going to be awesome. And boy, I sure hope Atlanta United is going to be awesome too, but we're still going to be here regardless.
Fingers crossed for sure. Yeah, very
Mm-hmm.
well said, Michael. Mark.
Yeah, I dropped my handle in the chat. It's at Nicholsodian, NICHOLLSODEON. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, like I obviously I took a break from the channel this year. A lot of that, personal things, new job, other things going on as well. So time's definitely compromised. But yeah, I mean, it's one thing when the team isn't doing as well on the field. I've rooted for bad teams before. I grew up in Virginia, so like most of my teams are DC teams. Although I'm not a DC United fan, so don't even. But the other teams, unfortunately, yeah, I pledge allegiance to. I just want I want a club that reflects my values. Like I want to feel good about supporting the club, and I want to feel like the club knows what it's doing and it's going in the right direction. Um, you know, do I feel that way right now? Not necessarily, but I'm also open to being wrong. And then also like to piggyback off of what Mike said, the last couple of years it's been difficult to watch Atlanta United ever since they took it off of like Hulu and YouTube streams, right? And so I have Hulu, so I watch most things. Something Mike and I were talking about yesterday, like I can watch any Premier League team, La Liga, Champions League, whatever, but I can't watch my own home team because I don't have the right cable package. I think that's And it wasn't just LA United that did this. I think MLS in general, they did not do their fans right with these ridiculous TV deals, blackouts, and so on. I think the Apple TV deal will go some way towards fixing that. I'm looking forward to that personally. And so, yeah, just being able to watch more games again, it'll be a good start.
So, man. Awesome, man. Well, yeah. I don't know how much more I can add. Yes, definitely. Follow us everywhere else for more content. We're definitely excited for 2023 and the off season and the promise, fingers crossed, that it can bring. But yeah, we'll leave you with this. The question of the day. Question of the day is: do you want Gonzalo Pineda to be the head coach in 2023? Let us know in those comments below. But that's it for us today. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. I've been AJ. Thank you to Mark. Thank you to Michael. Thank you to Miguel. Thank you to everybody else that's been here. FDC. Unfortunately, we couldn't bring you on, but everyone else in the chats, much love to all of you and your mothers. And we will see you in the next video, or at least I will. Thank you so much for watching.